This video is over week 4, task 1, page 2. So this is the second part. We just talked about your B values. So in this second part, we're going to be going the other way. So we're going to be looking at graphs and identifying their key features. So there is something in each of these examples. As the graph approaches the x-axis, it does not cross it. So that's what we talked about up here, where none of these graphs ever go below the y-axis, okay? So the reason they do that is there's this really weird thing in math called an asymptote. It is a line that a function gets close to but never touches, okay? So the best way I know of to describe it is you can think about Chris Brown and Rihanna. You know that Rihanna has a restraining order out on Chris Brown. He's not allowed to go close to her. Okay, so maybe Chris Brown, we know that he's kind of a player. Maybe he goes to the club. He sees this girl with a nice asymptote. Okay, so he starts walking up to her, and then he realizes it's Rihanna, and so he knows he can't go close to her, right? And so he's walking this way, and then he realizes, shoot, that's Rihanna, and he has to make it look like he wasn't ever planning to go towards her, okay? So an asymptote is something that your graph gets really, really, really close to, but never crosses, because we know that we never touch other people's asymptotes, okay? So on this first example, remember our basic is a times b to the x. So a is 3, meaning our y-intercept is 0, 3. We can see that from the graph right there. It crosses the y-axis at 0, 3. My b value is the rate of growth. So b value is 2. That 2 is bigger than 1, so it is increasing. You can also see from left to right, the graph is moving up. Domains for all exponential functions all the time is all real numbers, just like quadratics and just like linears, unless they give you specific parameters. So our domain is going to be infinitely many. Okay, and then my range is going to be directly related to my asymptote. Okay, so this asymptote is getting really, really, really close to 0, but it will never touch. So my y's are greater than 0. Notice they can't equal 0 because that's my asymptote. So that asymptote is a no-no line. You can't touch it. You can't cross it. You can't even think about it, okay? So if you can identify your asymptote, your range will always be greater than your asymptote. Your initial value is also your a value. So your initial value where it starts at 3. And your asymptote is horizontal. This will always be horizontal. So your asymptote and your range will always be directly related because your asymptote is always going to be a y equals equation. So this other one on the right, my a value is going to be that Ninja 1. It crosses the y-axis at 1, so that's my y-intercept, and my a value and my y-intercept are directly related. This b value is 1/2. Notice it is decreasing, okay? It's going down. As we read from left to right, it is decreasing. There are going to be some problems on your quick check that just ask you, is this graph increasing or decreasing? So remember, increasing goes up from left to right, decreasing goes down from left to right. My domain, again, that's a hard color to see. My domain is going to be infinitely many. And then I'm going to identify my asymptote first. So my asymptote is this line right here. So that's that y equals 0. Therefore, my range is going to be greater than 0. My initial value is my a value or my y-intercept of 1. And again, those asymptotes are always going to be